pursuing purpose, that it might connect with destiny. Keep soaring like the eagle. And so here what it is, the eagle, not only do they go through the storm, they soar above the storm, y'all. And so no matter what you're going through, you got to learn to keep soaring. You got to learn to go through the storm, but then you got to learn to rise above the storm. Yeah, storms show up unannounced, unaware, and uninvited. And so what do? You got to rise above it, y'all. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Power 444 Radio. I know this got to be my big brother, Andrew E. Guy. What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Listen, first of all, man, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to call. Listen, y'all, all the way from Canada. Listen, y'all, my brother has taken time out of his busy schedule and all the way in Canada via the Bahamas. You know, that's my brother traveling. And so here it is, y'all. I'm going to let him introduce himself, what he got going on, who he is, and we're going to talk about, y'all, as we've been talking about transition, transparency, and triumph. So listen, my brother Andrew E. Guy, y'all, I'm telling you, this is my brother from another mother. Listen, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you got going on, man, and we just going to dialogue.
All right. Listen, I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. You know how we go. We go way back, and we had a little time on my show the last time, and the conversation was so thick. Man, it was amazing. And I'm telling you, God is just working some amazing things in your life, in our life, and we are basically his hands and feet in the earth so the world can see what the kingdom is supposed to be like. But, you know, to cut to the chase, Andrew E. Guy, that's right. Originally from Jamaica by way of Kingston, and I am now in Canada, but I get a chance to travel the world when I get the opportunity to speak to people. So in a nutshell, what do? I bring out the best in people through speaking, writing, podcasting, coaching, and staff development training for work-life enrichment seminars. That's what I do in a nutshell.
Wow, yeah, powerful brother, y'all gotta connect. Well, first of all, I'm gonna let him give you all of that. But listen, tell us a little bit about your podcast, man. Listen, y'all, we had such a powerful time on this podcast, y'all. I'm telling you, it was lit to the max. And so, man, I'm telling you, I thank God for divinely connecting me to the right people in the right season. I've just been sharing that, y'all. You got to make sure of the connections that you are connected to. So tell us a little bit what the show is and about the name of the podcast.
All right. Thank you for asking. That's a great question. By the way, you know, the Bible always says, let those who have ears, let them hear. And my background in anatomy and physiology from Southern Arkansas University, I've learned in biology that there's a difference between listening and hearing, because hearing basically is just a physiological response of the auditory nerve to transmit information that's coming into your ear. All right? However, listening is not the same. Listening and hearing is not the same. Listening is a skill that we have to develop. So I am sitting there, and for about 3 to 4 years, you know, I don't know what I've been dealing with me. Well, you need to get out there and do this podcast because, you know, I always going to get the chance to be in front of an audience doing live talks and doing training and coaching for corporations and so forth. So when COVID hit now, which is a lot of people don't see COVID as a blessing. I wouldn't say in disguise. It's like, boom, it's right there in front of you because it happened in 2020, right? So it's not in disguise. It's like, bam, 2020, COVID-19 is here. So what I have realized is that the Lord wanted to expand my reach, but a lot of times we're kind of second guessing and wondering, is this time? No, it was time. And so I sat there for about 3 years now thinking about the podcast, wondering, man, what is it going to be called? Because there's power in the name. And I'm telling you, I'm Dr. E. It came to me like about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm listening. I'm ready. Like, what? What's that? So I got up and I wrote it down. Of course, you know, I'm excited about this. I'm like, I'm listening. I'm ready. It didn't make any sense. And it said that for those who have ears to hear, let them hear. But there's a responsibility that comes after you've heard something. That's why he called us that we must be doers of the word. So now I am listening, and once you listen to something, you get that information, you get that knowledge, you got to do something with it. So I am listening, I'm ready. That's the name of the podcast. Otherwise known as the Isla Podcast. I'm listening, I'm ready. And the show basically is to help to showcase thought leaders, entrepreneurs, people who are experts within their own field that they can use their information and background to help empower and inspire the next generation, because that exactly is what we're talking about.
Wow, and that's powerful. If people wanted to connect, I'm telling you, y'all, it's a powerful, powerful podcast. If people wanted to connect with you or connect with the show, or wanted to know a little bit more about it, how could they connect with you, or what is the website?
Oh, definitely. The website is called I'm Listening. I'm ready.com. It's in the works right now. We'll be releasing for 2021. But if they want to get in touch with me, they can go to my speaker website, which is andrewguyspeaks.com. My name, AndrewGuyspeaks.com, and they can get all my information there. I'm out there on social media. We're hooked up on Facebook of Andrew Guy Speaks. I'm out there on LinkedIn, Andrew Guy Speaks. I am out there on the Instagram, Andrew Guy Speaks, and I'm out there on Twitter. So if you can't find me on the social, knock on my home, bang, 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 on the www.andrewguyspeaks.com.
That's my brother, y'all. Listen, y'all, I'm telling you, you've got to go and listen to his show. I'm telling you, powerful information, wisdom, and knowledge. Not only that, y'all, it's a wealth of knowledge and to encourage you and to inspire you. And so I'm super excited, because he has a lot going on. If you need him as a coach, as a speaker, he's well versed. But not only that, with wisdom, knowledge, and education. And so I'm super excited. And so, Andrew, just if somebody was in between or just didn't know how, just say they were dealing with the transition, trying to get to the triumph, or they might feel discouraged, or, that the challenges they're facing, what words of inspiration would you give them so that they can continue to move forward?
Dr. E, man, that's an amazing question, because a lot of times, when we're looking at helping other people, we have to be able to be in their shoes. That's the first thing. We have to be able to walk in their shoes. You can't tell me that you're going to help somebody if you weren't able to walk in their shoes, not even to stand in their shoes for a minute. And as a coach for work-life integration, because that's most of what they call me for. Corporations call me to come in there and do staff training for work-life integration. And the goal is to help people to understand that your work and your life, they go hand in hand, but we have been separating them for many, many years, whereby we'll go to work and then we'll come home. That's a different life. It's not the same. I am working on an ebook right now called Wearing Many Hats. And what it is basically to help people to understand you are the same individual. However, at different occasions, you're wearing different hats to meet different needs. And so when I coach people, I let them know the first thing you have to understand is what we discussed on our show. It's about the purpose, man. It's the most important P in the world, purpose. And the second to that is people, because you cannot live out your purpose if you're not doing it with people. So the first advice I would give people is to get to know you first. Spend some time in the mirror understanding who you are before you look out the window, because the window represents the world, but the mirror represents you and your reflection of your skills, your expertise, your talent, and what you bring to the marketplace. If you don't know you, any other identity will do. But as soon as you know what you got, you know what you bring to the marketplace, and you know what separates you from everyone else. So you don't have to confuse yourself with anyone else, because you know what you're bringing, and that's how you're able to now help other people.
And that is so powerful, because even when we're dealing in a time where people need to learn self-care and who they are and the awareness, because if you can't do that, you sure can't help somebody else.
Correct.
Not only that, like you were just sharing that information, it is so critical and it's so crucial, and so we've got to understand, even like when we talk about purpose, if you don't understand it, if you can't define it, you'll never be able to walk in the door where you'll be able to fulfill it. But I like that analogy about standing. I always tell people you can't be effective to minister to somebody else if you're not going with what they're going through. Though it may be the same and they handle it different, but you can tell them from the experience. But if I have never gone through that, I really can't be effective. And I might can tell you, I can pray for you, or give you some words of encouragement encouragement, but unless I have gone through that similar situation, I really can't be effective. Then I would have to get somebody who has gone through that to be able to say, listen, I've gone through this. Let me share my experience from my perspective to be able to help you, because everybody's situation is still different, even though you may have gone through the same thing. And so that is important. And so when we get to these, these challenges or the transitions, trying to get to the triumph of it, let them know how important it is that you gotta stay determined, you gotta stay focused, and then you gotta have the right people in your circle.
I completely agree with you, Dr. E. One of the things that, as I coach individuals, I got several individuals that I'm working with. I mean, these are professionals. These are people that are great at their craft. They've been doing it for many, many years. They get paid well to do this. But the strange thing is that the commonality that we have among any individual, be it that they are an elite athlete or a great businessman or entrepreneur or just your lay person, the thing that we have in common is that we are what we call human. The Bible tells us that there are no temptations such as that is common unto all men. What is he saying in layman terms? That if something happens to that one person, chances are, because you're a human, it's going to happen to you. And I just want to expound upon what you mentioned, that we don't necessarily have to go through the same thing. But what we need to understand is that just like the word says that they're overcome by the word of their testimony. What does that simply mean? I don't have to go through the same heartache that you have gone through. But however, how I get out of my own trials and tribulation is what's going to be the testimony. It's what's going to be the inspiration. It's what's going to be the motivation. It's what's going to be the information that transforms you so you can be empowered to do what you need to do. So the bottom line to answer your question is that people need to just start sharing. Because sharing is caring. Because if I'm sharing information, that means I care about you and what you're going through. And if you don't know that I've been through something, then how are you going to help me to get over the hump so I can be triumphant? Because triumph comes through challenge. The next thing that I want to say is that we must welcome challenges, because it's like being in the gym. You get to work out, you get to strengthen those muscles, you get to strengthen those joints and limbs. So welcome the challenges, but now ask the Creator to give you strength so you can not run away from it, but get through it.
And that is so powerful, because I was just talking about with the other interviewer that when God said to me, how you handle the middle process is going to determine your outcome. And so how we handle the middle, whether we were in a storm, whether we were in the middle of the wilderness, or whether we were in the middle of a circumstance or trial or whatever we might be, how we handle it, how we see it, how we look at it from whatever perspective, it is so important, because it's going to determine the outcome of it. And like you said, with even sharing and even sharing testimony, that was one of the other things we talked about, is being transparent, because sometimes people need to hear that so they can see where they are. I've been sharing about 2 years ago when I was in the wilderness experience, took a position, as a career move, but it just turned out 10 months into it, it wasn't for me. But here it is now, I'm on the other side of the triumph of it, but I still could not skip the process and preparation of the wilderness experience to get to the promise, to get to the other side. And so what it was is I had to handle the middle process to get to the promise. Not only that, it was how I handled it. I had to, tap into my faith. I had to look at it from a positive perspective. I had to look at it that it was helping me. I had to look at it as Paul declared, all of this is working for my good. I had to look at it through the eyes of faith and knowing that God was going to get me through it, and then had to trust the God of the process, trust the God in the process, and trust the God to bring me through the process. But yet and still, it was how I handled it. And so when I look at it from another perspective, even understanding that that was an experience, that was a learning experience, it just wasn't for me. And so I even told my boss today I wouldn't care if they was offering $200,000, but that's not for me. And so never just base it on money. I look at it as a career move, even with the increase, because the mere fact of the matter is this, Andrew, is that, listen, it wasn't for me. I learned a lot. I applied a lot. I walked away knowing a lot that I didn't know prior to it. But here's the thing, self-examination. You've got to know your lane. You got to know your purpose. And so now I know I gained the knowledge and experience, but yet and still, that's not something I want to do.
But Dr. E, it's amazing what you're saying, that a lot of people will offer you something and it seems so good, but you don't know what you're going to have to. The main question that we need to ask ourselves is, what do I have to give up to hold that? And I want your listeners and your viewers to really see that every time you're going to do something, you're balancing. There's almost like this juggling, and this is why I have to recoin what's called work-life balance into work-life integration and enrichment. So when I go into speak to corporations, they say, okay, you're the work-life balance guy. I said, no, that's somebody else. I said, I am the work-life integration and enrichment individual. What does that simply mean? That work and your life is the same thing. And as we were speaking about earlier on, I said we're wearing different hats at different times. Now, the enrichment piece comes in where you take care of yourself, because I use the analogy of having a bun from a submarine. Like, for example, you went to Mr. Sub and you get a sub, right? Yes, it's the bun represents the life, but whatever you put on the sandwich determines your level of enrichment that your taste bud is now able to celebrate. So you might just want lettuce on your sandwich. I may want some lettuce, I want some ketchup, I want some tomatoes, I want some greens. And so it depends on what you put on the sandwich that determines the after effect of the taste bud. What does that mean to your life? It means that your life must be enriched. And if your life is enriched, you will take that enrichment and it will spill over into your work, it will spill over into your home life, it will spill over into your play, because it's about where you live, where you work, and where you play. And don't forget, where you pray. You imagine showing up at the church building and you're happy because your life is enriched. You imagine showing up at work and you're excited because your life is enriched. You imagine showing up at the gym or wherever you do self-care and your life is enriched, or coming home and your life is enriched. It's all about enrichment through integration. That's what it's about. And that's why most people who have great jobs are failing right now, because they don't understand that enrichment piece. And that's what I teach when I show up.
And that's so important, because here's the thing. People don't know how to balance, and people really don't know what balance is. Like, people always say to me, how do you do all of that? I say, I've learned the key. I learned the balance. Like, they laugh at me at work. I come home and take a nap. And I couldn't take a nap today because I had to freshen up, change, and come do the show. But I'm going to give me a nap because I know I'm going to be up late tonight. But I know how to balance it. I know I'm not one that require a lot of sleep. And so the thing is, I come home, I take a nap, and then I know when I jump on my prayer line, then I'm up. And then here's the thing, is that I know how to balance it, and I know what I'm doing. And so when you understand how to balance it, when you understand, with the work life and your work life and all of that, and how to balance things, then you'll be better at it. And so, oh my God, I always say this, Lord, where is the time going, Andrew? We got to always have another. I'm going to need you for a whole hour, because we can go for an hour or more. But the thing about it is, it's such powerful information that you're dropping, and so people can understand. And y'all listen, my brother travels all over. He teaches all over. He's certified. He does a lot with training and teaching and coaching and incorporation. And like he just said, people they get paid to do a lot of what they do in their craft, but there's no balance in their life. They don't know how to balance work and life together. And so here it is. He has to come in, help them, train them, teach them. And so now they can understand the importance of it. And that's what you have to learn to do. And so, wow, man, where does the time go? I always say this every week. Been saying it for a whole year. Like, where does the time go? But I'm definitely going to have to bring you back. But listen, share the importance and a word of inspiration with them. And again, allow the listeners to know how they can reach you, or if they need to connect with you.
Definitely. Jessica wanted to say really, really a huge thank you to Dr. E. I know when we connected on social media, I know this was going to be lit. This was going to be one of those relationships that it wasn't going to be here today, gone tomorrow. It wasn't going to be a fad. It was going to be something that we're going to do together for a long time, because we share the same mentality and same spirit. But I wanted to add in, for those people who are trying to or having difficulty with balance and act, it's not about balance. Balance can be summed up in one word: priority. If you know what your priority is, you know what you have to do, and you do what you have to do, so one day you can do what you want to do. Now, someone has already said that, but I'm reiterating that. So we're helping people to understand what priority is, where you live, where you work, and where you play. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. You can find me, you can reach me out there at andrewguyspeaks.com. You can find me on social media anywhere at Andrew Guy Speaks. Now, what I do in the body of Christ is really to bring out the best in people. When people are hurting, you can't see their best. When people don't have priorities correct, you can't see their best. When people have stress, you can't see their best. My goal in the body, my future in the body and in the marketplace, I help you to understand that work-life integration is what's going to make the best part of bringing work-life enrichment to make work a happy endurance that you should do. So that's kind of what I want to tell you. And I coach people, whether you're professional, you're municipal, you're in the government. I have clients that I coach there to help them deal with this work-life integration stuff. And so that's kind of what I do. You can reach me out there. You can find my books out there at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca. There are a couple of books that are in the works that are coming up right now, but that's kind of what it is. So you can just reach out to me on the weekend. I come out every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Isla Podcast. You can find me out there. I'm listening. I'm ready.
Wow, thank you, bro. I appreciate you taking your time out. We'll have you back as always. But for taking time out to share the wisdom, share the knowledge, to share those golden nuggets so that people can definitely hear the information, the knowledge. Listen, y'all make sure y'all go on all the social media and connect with him. This is a powerful brother. This is my brother for life. I appreciate his wisdom, his knowledge, and I'm telling you, tune into the podcast because I'm telling you, it is amazing. We had an amazing time. So again, man, thank you for taking time out to share. I look forward to, chatting with you. And so not only that, have a powerful, wonderful, safe, and wonderful week, and always stay safe, be careful. And so, man, I appreciate the value you bring to my life, the value you bring to community, to just all those who meet you. So God continue to richly bless you, favor rest upon you, and the word hover over you, and the angels dispatch and keep charge over you. Be blessed, be inspired, and thank you again, bro, for taking time out to share right here on Power 4.4 Radio, the Power of Influence, with your little brother, Dr. E.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Take care of yourself and have yourself a fantastic and listen, keep doing what you do, man. Keep the fire ablazing. All right, take care. Have yourself a fantastic day, and thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. Listen, y'all, man, I always say, man, where does the time go? Man, wow. I'm telling you, 2 hours and it has gone. But listen, this your boy, Dr. E, right here on Power 4.4 Radio, the Power of Influence, y'all, every Friday, 6 p.m. to 8. Make sure you download that app, Live 365, and look for Power 4.4